Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of our typography assignment. In the next part, what we're going to do is we're going to generate the text. Now, it can be a little bit tricky because we don't want the text to be too large and we don't want it to be too small, and it's going to depend on the image that you decide to bring in. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to click over here on my text tool, and I'm just going to zoom out a bit because I want to make sure I cover this whole area. And I'm going to select this whole region here. And what I'm going to do is, in Microsoft Word, I've already generated a bunch of text. And I'm going to use these words here for my assignment. I'm going to copy these. And I'm going to go back to Photoshop. And I'm going to right click and I'm just going to paste all this in. Now, notice that you can hardly see it. It is very small. My font size is about 10, and my leading is approximately 10. So I'm just going to click the check mark. I need to zoom in here and take a look at this and see what this looks like. You don't want, like I said, font that is too big or too small. If it's too small, we can't read the words. If it's too big, we're not going to see the characteristics of the face. So I'm just going to go in here and take a look, and there's my words there. I'm just going to double click, and I'm just going to keep pasting this in here and see what this looks like. So I'm just hitting Control V. And just pasting in those words. Like I said, it's kind of tricky to figure out what size to use. This is part of the assignment. You might have to redo if you end up with results that you don't really like if the facial features aren't defined enough. Now, notice that I've got bold selected and I've got Arial bold as the font selected. This is going to be my shadow text. So I'm going to have shadow text and I'm going to have mid-tone text. The shadow ones, I want to have a bold font. So I've selected a bold font here and I've selected bold here. And I'm going to click on the check mark. And then I'm just going to go Control minus. I'm just going to zoom out here and take a look. Make sure I've got everything covered. Might have to stretch this just a little bit here just to make sure I get everything covered. So it looks like everything is covered here. Just make sure the top is covered. So there. So if I double click on that again, just to look at my numbers here. So my font ended up being 10 and my leading is approximately 10. So just make note of that when you do yours. Click on the check mark. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to generate the mid-tone text. To do that, I'm just going to copy this layer, make my life easy. So right click, duplicate layer, and I'm going to call this my mid-tone text. Click on OK. And I'm just going to double click my other layer of text. That's my shadow text. And if I just make that not visible for now. So here is my mid-tone text. If I double click on that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that not bold. And I'm going to go and select just Arial regular font. And I'm going to click the check mark here. And I'm going to make sure the whole thing is covered. Looks like the bottom's not. I'm just going to stretch it a little bit. It's going to increase my font size just a little bit. Click the check mark. Now if I zoom in, let's take a look at what this looks like. So it's all covered, and my words might be a little bit too small, but I'm going to try it like that and see how this turns out. So now I'm going to move my mid-tone text layer, just click and hold and drag it down by my midtones image. And my shadow text, I'm just going to slide that down by my shadow image. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide that midtone text. I'm going to go up to my shadow image, click on that to make it view. Now I'm just going to zoom out, Control minus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this and copy it because I'm going to create a layer mask. So make sure this layer is selected, and I'm going to go Control A, selects it all, and Control C copies it. Then I'm going to go to my, and I'm going to make that not visible. Then I'm going to go to my shadow text layer, and I'm going to click on this here. That creates a layer mask. So I'm going to make a layer mask with the text. So click on that. Now, very important, hold down your Alt key and click on this layer mask box. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy in that shadow image. To do that, I'm going to go Control V, and you should see it show up here. Now, right now you can see that this is moving. I don't want that selected, so I'm going to go Control D to deselect it, and I get this here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invert this so all the blacks become white and vice versa. So to do an invert, hit Control I, and it looks like that. So now if I make that visible, I'm going to faintly see that font that I created using a layer mask. Now, still not a great effect yet. That's just my shadows image. So now I'm going to go do the same thing for the midtones, and it's going to pop out more. So I'm just going to make that not visible. I'm going to go down to my midtone image, and what I want to do is select all of that. I'm going to do the same process again. So Control A selects it all, Control C copies it. I'm going to go to this midtone text layer, and I'm going to create a layer mask. Then I want to select this box, so hit the Alt key, click on that, and I'm going to go Control V, paste that image in. And again, you can see that it's selected. I want to deselect it, so Control D. And then I want to invert it, Control I. And so now we get more of our face. Now this is selected here. I want to make sure that that's off. Make sure that this is on. And it's hard to see, so what we really need to do is have a background put in. So I'm going to go File, Open. I'm going to go grab a background and double click on that. It's going to bring it in as a background layer. So you need to go down to your photo bin, select the project we were just working on, double click it, and then take this image and just drag it on top of our file, and then click on that layer and just bring it down to the bottom. And then what we're going to do is take this image. I'm just going to stretch it out a bit. I'm going to bring it on top. Like so. So now if we zoom in, we can see the typography that we used in the assignment, and if I went and printed, I could see some of those words that I used in the assignment, and you can see how it's important to pick the right size of font. So this looks like a pretty good size. You can see here the shadows text versus the mid-tone text that's over here. If I zoom back out a little bit, I could have maybe chosen a picture that had a little more contrast, but still ended up as a decent product. So that's it for this assignment. You're going to try and duplicate the same thing. Make sure that you use an image of yourself, not of your classmate. Make sure you use an image of yourself to do this, and follow the hand instructions in the assignment. That's it. Have fun with it. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.